I haven't gone on the chat room.
That's okay. That's all right. You don't need the chat. It's just if you want to see what Rosemary's saying, you can just click on chat and anything Rosemary types in there will be seen.
Oh, yeah. So here we go. We've got Yumi down here and then Rosemary.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, here I've got a message now saying hello, welcome to our group.
Yes. And that's
okay,
Mitzi.
so I can just
beautiful.
type. Now when I type, do I press on the 3 buttons or
down the bottom? If you click on the chat up the top, and that opens up the box. You've got that now, obviously, because you see Mitzi has said hello, welcome to your group.
Oh, right, and just cooking with my client.
That's right, yeah. And you see where it says type a new message? You can type anything there, but because you've got your mic off, you can just talk to us. But I just didn't want you to miss the conversation that's going there, potentially on the side as well. Welcome, Yumi. I have allowed mic access. If you want to put your camera and your mic on, please feel free to do that. To work out how to do that, at the top of your screen, there's a mic icon and a camera icon. If they've got a cross through them, a diagonal cross through them, you just click on them and that will open up your mic so that we can hear you, and open up your camera so we can see you. And Rosemary is busy cooking with her client. That's lovely. No problem, Rosemary. You're a multitasker there. And Mitzi is here, but she's just on chat only. So whilst we're waiting, did you have any specific questions for us, Franca or Yumi?
Yes, I just wanted to know. I've currently had a foot operation, so I'm waiting to get my stitches out on Friday. So I don't know when I can go back to work. Probably not until another couple of weeks, but I'll ask my specialist. But in the meantime, I just wanted to ask you if there's a client who is telling me that she supposedly is starting a DM with a celebrity, should I let her know the dangers of that it might be someone purporting to be that celebrity, and as a support worker, do I let her think about the dangers of doing that?
It's a great question, and I would presume yes, but Mitzi might need to answer that via chat. So you're communicating with the client even though you're on sick leave, yeah? Is that something?
Oh, no. The last time I've spoken to her, she told me to remain, confidential. So I was helping her look for important documents, and we found them. And she's not happy with her current partner, but she wants to go overseas and meet up with her sister and her family overseas. And in the meantime, for the last 3 months, she's had this online relationship who she thinks is a celebrity. Initially I said that she said she'd meet him, and I thought, well, this is dangerous now that we found her passport and her Australian citizenship. She needs to renew her passport. So I said to her, just before you meet him, before you go to America, just make sure you listen to him before you meet him, because he might purport to be someone else. He might be using that celebrity's Facebook page, because she said to me initially there were all these, disgusting photos, and I was a bit weary of that. And then she shared her own photo, and I was weary of that as well. And then I said, just be careful, because maybe this person isn't the celebrity.
No, and that's exactly right.
Why would this celebrity have all this time to text you?
And then
she said that they're married, but he's not happy in his marriage. They're just separated. Okay. And I thought, hang on, it's very dangerous. I'm helping her because she's decluttering, but also because she's had a broken ankle, and her ankle is not the same, so she's still recovering from that. And she was in hospital for 8 weeks. And I'm just really worried now that I'm not working for her for the time being. I told her that if you do find the passport or you do renew it, we did find the passport. That was one of my jobs. But if you renew it, I'm really scared for her. I don't want her to be exposed to this danger.
Oh, no. Well, look, I'm going to just go and find some documentation that I think is going to help us answer this question.
And at the same time, I don't want to
presume,
misuse her level of. I don't want to betray her trust, because she told me not to say anything, because she's not in an abusive relationship, but it's not domestic violence, but it's more verbal abuse.
Yeah.
And you know, I've talked her through that, and I've told her what to do. But I don't know if I should share this information, because she told me not to share it to anyone, you see.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at the code of conduct. Obviously, well, you're respecting her privacy, which is great.
Yes.
You're not mentioning her name.
Yes.
You know, I think that depending on the situation, and to a level, you need to advocate for her. And I would recommend that you communicate your concerns to the case manager assigned to that client, and maybe through the community coordinators. But as Mitzi and Lauren have been saying repeatedly in these sessions, talk to them, email them. They need to know. So things like this that you don't know the answer to, you just escalate it up to the case manager. And you send an email saying, I'm really worried about this. And I think it is part of your responsibility to act on your concerns. And Mitzi is saying you can type all your questions in the chat. Mitzi, can you hear us? If you want to just say, obviously you can, yes or no there. But I'm sure I've seen a policy on advocating for clients. So let's just park that for a minute. And here comes the lovely Lauren.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hey, Lauren. You've just missed a fantastic scenario that we need advice on.
Okay.
And I'll just summarise it. Frank has a client who is communicating with allegedly with a celebrity who via direct messaging, you know, on social media. And, you know, she's looking to get a passport and fly to America, potentially to meet this said celebrity. And Franca doesn't know, you know, because she doesn't want to breach this trust that this client has by sharing this information. But she's obviously very concerned that this is a, you know, what do they call them?
Imposter.
Imposter.
Scam.
Basically. A scam, that's the word.
Yeah.
So what I've said to definitely let the case managers know, because you've got to protect her well-being, health and well-being, don't you? I mean, this is part of the role, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but she said that she's seen the sister first, because she has all her sister and family in America. So she said she would never go there and meet him on his own. But she does know. She does know that. I said to her, make sure you hear his voice, because she thinks it's Andre Rieu, you know, the Swedish violinist.
Oh God, no.
Yeah,
no.
Andre Rieu, and she thinks it's him. And she said that he said he'll pick her up in one of his 3 jets. He's got three Concords, and she looked it up, and apparently he does.
Yeah, but that's just information available, isn't it?
Exactly, and we might know that about him. If she's found that out, how can this imposter know too?
That's right.
Know?
Yeah,
so
it sounds very suspicious.
Yeah, so she doesn't want to let her husband know that she's flying to America, because in Thailand, he took her passport. So
I've got a feeling, Franca, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Don't mention any names though, remember.
No, I'm not going to mention names.
Just wanting to repeat that.
Yeah, because she told me not to say anything, and I know that I'll lose her as a client if I do say something, but I don't want her to get this passport in the meantime and then go to America and meet this imposter.
Yes, it could be very dangerous.
Yeah.
So can I provide some feedback around that situation?
Sure.
So I understand that you're concerned about breaching the client's privacy and that trusting relationship. But what you've also got to think about is risk versus reward, okay? You may risk losing that trust or losing that possible client, okay? However, we are also potentially risking, by this not being reported and going through the correct channels and things like that, we are also potentially risking putting that client into quite a serious situation, whereby maybe I've watched too much Criminal Minds or any, something like that.
Sure.
But worst case scenario, if they were successfully able to get a passport, go to America, and something happened to them and we knew about it, I know if I was the case manager, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night
Yeah, I'm like that now. I
You
can't
must
see
be.
her now, Lauren, because I've had this foot operation and I can't even drive until my stitches come out on Friday. So I can't even see her, and I'm thinking about her.
Yeah. So I think in that situation, we've always got to think about what is the biggest risk here. Okay. Ultimately, look, Franca, I'm going to be honest with you. I have had clients come and go. In my past, like as a support worker, whereby we have a legal obligation, we have a duty of care, and that pretty much outranks anything.
Well, that's why I thought it was probably my instinct to report it and tell you today. So
yes, good. You've done the right thing, most definitely. So, So does Franca put this in? Well, it's very relevant to our topic of conversation today: progress notes. And how does Franca go about reporting such a situation?
So first step, case note it, progress note it. But what we've got to remember when we are doing our progress notes, that it is evidence-based practice. Okay. Everything we do is based on evidence. I'm sure most of us in the room today have applied for a loan in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. With that being said, when we apply for a loan, we have to provide that evidence to say that, yes, we can afford to pay this loan back. Okay. Same principles apply with our clients. Okay. With our clients, as a case manager, I review my progress notes because I use, and we all use it as the foundation for case plans for, if they're a home care package, we put those observations into our review requests. If it's the NDIS, it goes in so we've got to write these monster letters about why these people need more funding. Why do they need this? Right? But it's all based on evidence. I can't say, support worker Franca, she gave me a call and said A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Okay. Whilst we all have our guts, and we do, we're humans, we run on our gut instincts, we've got to be able to prove if our gut is right or wrong. Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, when you are reporting things, I'll just use this situation as an example. It could be support worker has concerns that client may be becoming a victim of a cybercrime.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Support worker has observed A, B, C, D. Client has stated A, B, C, D. Exactly, Mitz. Be factual, evidence-based. You can't report on something that you haven't seen.
Right.
Okay. If a client is disclosing something to you that happened when you weren't there, well, then you can't say, I seen this happen, A, B, C, D. But you can say, client stated this, and this.
Right. Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Should I report it now? Because I'm not working at the moment, should I report it now? Because I think in the Procura app, it won't show up within the 2 days of the job. Is that correct? And
so
then
what you can also do is speak to the community team. Give the community team a call.
Yep.
And just ask them who the case manager is. Speak to that case manager directly. Exactly, Mitzi. What you saw, what you heard, not what you thought or think.
Right. Okay.
So speak to the community team, ask who the case manager is, and then the case manager, they'll be able to get the case manager to give you a buzz. And I know if it is me, I'm going to say, since you can't do a progress note, can you please send it to me in an email?
Yeah, sure. We'll do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel better now. I have a better conscience now.
Right.
And I'm so glad I did the NDIS module, because I know that, we're here for the client's needs, and I treat them like they're my own family, and and this is why it hurts me to leave it inside and not say anything, because I think, no, something's not right. It doesn't sound right. So I'm gonna send an email after this. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you know the email address is community@meditechstaffing.com.au. Are you on the Facebook group? I put that out there last week.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you in the Facebook group, Frankham? Is that how you heard about this?
No.
Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, I am. I can add
I'll
you on.
Yes, you just look for Meditech Training College Community of Practice for Field Workers. And if you can't find it, I'll put it. I'll send it to you if you want somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other thing to be mindful of.
I'll just put the link in the chat now.
Okay. Thanks.
The other thing that we need to be mindful of as well, especially with these sensitive topics whereby you're concerned about breaching, well, not breaching, but compromising that relationship that you have with your clients, is that us case managers, whenever we're investigating, for lack of a better word, we weren't born yesterday, okay? We do take things, we go around things in a sensitive way as well. Like, I know as a case manager, I wouldn't ring the client and go, so Mrs. Jones, I've just heard A, B, C, D. Do you want to talk to me about it?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
We all do act. We do it delicately.
Oh, of course, because you have to maintain your professional conduct.
Exactly. And we don't want to be the cause for any relationship breakdowns either, because we understand how important you guys are to the clients. You know, they see you guys a hell of a lot more than what they see us.
Yes, sure.
Perfect. Such a brilliant problem to bring to us today, Franca. Thank you so much. So glad to have you here.
Thank you for answering that, Lauren.
Excellent. And Franca and anyone else, if you haven't joined our Facebook group, we've got a closed group. I've put the link in the chat. It's private. It's only for field workers with Meditech staffing, and it's where I'm putting recordings of these sessions up, putting useful information, like we'll do a summary of today's meeting up there. We'll tell you who to, the email address for your contacts and so on. So lots of useful information we're putting up there. Welcome to Yumi and Arjun. Do you have any questions for us today? Yumi, I don't know what else I can do to get your mic working. Don't worry, you can type in the chat if you have a question. You can turn on your mic, you turn on your camera. It's completely up to you. Arjun, if you have a question this week. I think you were here with us last week, might be a different Arjun, but just type it in the chat or unmute yourselves. You should have the capacity to do that this week. I thought you change the settings every week, and it still comes in and people aren't automatically given mic access. So what I've got today, and maybe, Mitzi and Lauren, I've got this handout that we give to our students who study with us, and it's 12 tips for writing progress notes. And I'll put it up on the Facebook group so that you can read through it. But it gives you some, what are they, what your role is in recording them, why you record, some examples for recording them, the elements of good progress notes. Okay, and it's what Mitzi and Lauren are saying. Keep it factual, be concise, short is sweet, short and simple, keep it simple, to the point, well written. So it doesn't have to be an essay. If you're worried about your written English, do dot points. That's fine. Don't worry about your written English. We will get it. It talks about, thinking about what happened. So breaking it down before you summarize it. What happened? Who is involved? What's the cause? What's the motive? Was it witnessed? How did it happen? Okay.
I think that really comes into effect when you start writing incident reports.
Yeah, right. Okay. And so it says here that's like you're likely to answer that in a subjective manner, but you've got to be objective. Okay. You can only put the facts in there.
I actually had an incident report, Leanne, and I reported it to Sarah, and she said at the back of that ID badge that we have, there's a QR code, and you scan that on your phone, and it doesn't go into this detail. It's all in point form, and I could only put in a paragraph because a client of mine used my car to buy drugs.
Oh, God. Well, that is an incident, isn't it?
I do not want to work for him anymore. And he was a Christian. I wasn't scared at all. He was a Christian, but what I thought I was doing, visiting a friend, I thought, hang on, that sounds a bit dodgy, visiting a friend. And he showed me the drugs, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do this, because if the police would have come at any time, I could have been charged for possession of a prohibited substance. Or supply of a both charges. So I reported it to Sarah, and she said, go on the QR code and then just report it straight away, please. And then funnily enough, it's not Gigi's fault, but 2 days later, Gigi rang me and said if I can work for this client again. And I said, no, hang on. I'm offended that, the notes weren't updated and I was asked to work for this client again because this client wanted me
put in
to
the
work
report.
For him.
Yeah.
And
So can I just stop you there?
I worked on, I reported it Thursday morning. I'm offended that actually, Meditech are asking me to work for this client again. And Gigi didn't know. I said, that's fine, but please I do not want to work for him. And then she put, okay, I'll put do not send.
Yeah. So can I just say, in that circumstance, how important do you think it would be to have documented that in a progress, not just an incident report, but in your progress notes?
I think I already did, but I was scared that because my daughter told me that it's illegal, I thought if I put in my progress note that he used my transportation services to buy drugs, then I thought, what if I was his dealer or I don't know, supplier? And that's what my daughter said, that I shouldn't.
How long has your daughter worked in the industry?
Oh, she's worked in a pub, so she's seen it first.
So it's a bit different, yeah. So what would have happened?
And she's put her eyes. She said, you turn away because you might be charged of being a dealer or a supplier.
No, stop. No, it's incorrect.
I think, Frank, let's hear what Lauren has to say, because it is a different industry. I think that's a good point, Lauren. And this is
completely different.
Yeah.
So look, I will put my hand up and say, I have been, I'm not going to say victim of that, but I have had to do something similar. So as a team leader in child protection, I was actually required, I found out that one of our young people had quite a fair bit of illegal substance on them. And I was required to take that to the police station with the young person. Okay.
Really?
With that being said, under no circumstances was the young person or the drugs getting in my car without me having evidence. Right. And this is where I'm going with it. Evidence, okay? I ensured that I had completed a case note about the discussion with the young person. I then done a case note about with my phone call to the local police station. Also case noted the email chain between myself, my program manager, and my CEO. Right.
Okay, Lauren, in my case, if he was already in the car with the bag and holding it to me, what do I do in that scenario?
So you can actually say you need to put that away. Sorry, Rosemary, I'll come back to you on that one. What you need to do is you need to report that straight away. This is what's happened, okay? Which you've done. You've told Sarah that. As long as someone is notified straight away, right?
Yeah,
that will be case noted. So say, for instance, I was the case manager and you called me and told me Billy Bloggs has just gotten in my car with, 5 ecstasy tablets or whatever he had. I would document that straight away. Receive phone call, blah, 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 blah. Because your biggest thing in this industry is if something goes wrong, what have you got to fall back on? If you know you are acting within your scope of your role, which you were providing support to a client to go to a friend's house. That's all you knew. Yeah.
Oh, that was one of the, that was towards the end because I was with him for, I don't know, 2 hours. I took him.
But that's what I'm saying.
It was towards the end of the trip. And I was worried for my own safety because it looked actually like a meth lab where I was waiting. And there was a guy that was looking at me, sitting on the stairs, loitering around and looking at me, and I could see that look in his eyes, if to say, "What has she got in the bag? How much can she get? How much can I get off her?" So I was scared, and that's why.
So did your client get out of the car?
To get out of there.
Did your client get out of the car?
He got out of the car. He said, "I have to get some money from my friend," and I saw smoke coming out of the flat in Enfield.
And you were in the car by yourself.
This doesn't look right.
So you were in the car by yourself?
Yeah, for 6 minutes. And at the
Prime
same
opportunity
time,
to call somebody.
yeah, I didn't know because I thought maybe that guy's cooking. But then when I smelt, you know, funny substances, I thought, oh, no, hang on, he's cooking something else. But I looked up, and that's when I saw another guy on the stairs looking at me and trying to analyze how much I might have in my bag, or I even thought he was going to steal my car. The way he looked at me, I was so scared. And then at the same time, my client came out and he said, let's go. And I said, what did you do? And he showed me what it was. I said, look, I can't do this anymore with you in the car. I said, I can be an accessory to your crime. And he said, yeah, I know. Don't mention anything. He said, this helps with my pain because he's waiting for knee reconstruction surgery.
So I can guarantee you anyone that is prescribed medicinal marijuana will not be going to a dodgy looking house to obtain it.
Actually,
so just food for thought, Franca.
Crystal meth.
There we go. So food for thought. Think outside the box. If you were afraid, you were in that car for a time period by yourself, you had the prime opportunity to call someone to notify them of what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the reason we document. Okay. We document to build up a history. If you may have been the first person he's done this to, you may have been the fifth. But if we've got that evidence, we can then go, hey, something's not right here. Okay.
And it's evidenced and it's documented. I think this is what is relevant to the progress notes, besides your safety, which is paramount.
Yeah.
And ringing someone and not hesitate. And you're not going to get in trouble. You haven't done anything wrong. You are reporting a tricky and difficult and scary situation. So, there's absolutely nothing you've done wrong.
I felt it was the longest 6 minutes of my life.
I bet it was. But then reporting it.
If I would be scared, I would make a call. But then I saw the guy smiled and I thought, okay, there's someone coming out, and it was my client. And then I was okay. And I didn't even look at him. I was just looking at my phone. But what I didn't like was when I did my first job, and when I finished my first job, I was called by the case manager to say if I can go to this second job at Enfield, not even having time to read the notes. So can I just tell everyone, all the support workers, make sure you have ample time to read the notes, because you can refuse to do a job, can't you?
You can, providing you have, I don't want to say a valid reason, but yes, you can. You can.
Well, see, this client was a schizophrenia client, and I didn't know his case history. And if I knew his case history, I would have prepared myself, and I wouldn't have sat in the car for 6 minutes. I would have thought, okay, it is a transportation job, but it is for a schizophrenia patient, and then I would prepare myself better of that situation. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. So I totally understand where you're coming from, but I think
the case manager should say, Franca, look at your notes before you see, Billy blogs, and just read his case. And because, see, I don't have experience with schizophrenia patients, and I know that's my job, and I like to help them, as I saw in the NDIS module. That's my job. That's what I'm there to do. But if I knew about his history, then I would have known how to act. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So and the point is that, Lauren, can I just come in there? The point is there, first step, read the progress notes at the start of every shift. Yeah. So you got access to that.
That would be more the care plan. That would be the care plan, not a progress note.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that being said as well, I think it would be really good, Franca, if you can jump on the Facebook page, because I done a webinar the other month in regards to positive behaviour support plans. And then that really looks at, the sort of language that we use, and, having our own judgments and biases. Yeah. I think it'd be really good if you could go back and have a look at that.
Okay. And we'll be doing more webinars on behaviour support and behaviour management. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot coming on mental health, you know, on the different behaviours that you'll be encountering, such as, you know, schizophrenia and the likes. So more information is coming, so stay tuned. I think Arjun and Yumi, anything to say on the matter whilst we just transfer over to Rosemary's questions? Thanks, Franca, for that.
That's okay.
I think we've just highlighted the imperative need to write factual progress notes to, you know, protect yourself and to create that historical record.
Sure.
I think it's vitally important. And Rosemary's asked another challenging question. Is it legal to buy alcohol for a client? They have mobility issues and are diagnosed with alcohol dependency.
Right.
So, you know, Mitzi has put up the Charter of Rights for, I've put that up on the screen, I don't know if you can see it there. All people receiving Australian government funding, home care or anything in the community have rights. And Mitzi has referred us to point 7. They have the right to have control over and make choices about their care and personal and social life, including where choices involve personal risk. So Mitzi, are you saying then if the person you know they've got an alcohol dependency, but that person is saying, I want alcohol, is it not up to the support worker to then say, well, too bad, you can't have it? Is that the case? Lauren, you might want to speak on Mitzi's behalf because she can't speak at this point.
I'd love for any one of you to tell me that I couldn't have a drink.
I was just going to say alcohol dependency, geez.
And with that being said, I'm not dependent on alcohol. But think about it, guys. Are they 18? Yes?
Right.
If they're 18, well, if they were under 18, I'd be strongly saying no.
Right.
Over the age of 18, it's about giving them choice and control, okay?
Right.
If they are saying, I want, you know, can you go buy me a bottle of Jack Daniels? I would be saying, okay, but are you aware? And again, it very draws back to a lot of what we spoke about last week, Leanne. You know, we're not doctors, we can't diagnose, but it'd be like, okay, I understand you want to have a drink. It's Friday afternoon, whatever. Are you aware of the risks of alcohol in your medications? Or, you know, putting it back on them. And exactly, Mitz, that was going to be my next point. We are not there to pass judgment or impose our beliefs, okay?
That's
good job, Rosemary.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's great.
But again, would you be documenting it? I'd like to think everyone's going to say, yes, Lauren, we would document it. Okay, because, again, what's the risk? If they are on some sort of medication and they are having, you know, they say, you buy me a 10-pack of JD and they have 1 JD, nothing might happen. If they drink the whole thing of JD, you know, you could have that contradiction, right? Exactly. Yep. Let them know. Put it in your progress notes how much you have purchased, how much you observed for them to drink. Because if something, you know, you finish work, you go home and something happens, I get a phone call from, you know, such and such police station. I can turn around and go, well, I know my support worker was there until 4:30 in the afternoon. And at the time she left, he had only consumed 2 cans of Jack Daniels or whatnot. Again, it's that evidence. It is bum covering 101. All right.
We're talking about your tush, not theirs.
Your tush, not mine, yours.
Cover your tush. See, it used to be CYA. It's now CYT. It's cover your tush. It's much more diplomatic. And welcome to Kalol. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Kalol, if you have any questions or if you'd like to turn your mic on, you hover around the menu bar. It's either at the top or the bottom of the screen, and just click on mic and camera. And/or camera, if you would like to say anything. Otherwise, you can go to the chat room. We are chatting as well as talking. We've talked a lot today about progress notes. We've talked about cybercrime, drugs, alcohol dependency. Gee, it's been riveting for me, who's not from this sector. Guys, I just admire the work that you do out there. That's hardcore and that's challenging. So I'm really glad we've got this space for you to ask those tricky questions there. Hello, Kalol. Lovely to see your face. Oh, it's gone now. Do you have a question for us, Kalol? Hello, welcome.
Hello. Sorry, I just joined now.
Great.
I was late with my with other client.
No problem.
But I missed out. But as you were explaining, I could have seen it maybe in the somewhere in the chat box, as you said. What was the discussion?
Yeah, well, we're recording this session. I'm putting it on the Facebook group. Are you on our Facebook group, Kalol?
I believe I invited, like, but I'm not sure whether I joined it. I didn't know that.
There is a closed Facebook group for field workers specifically. You can ask questions in the chat box. If you go to the chat box in the middle of it, you've got a link to join it. It is a closed private group. There's no obligation to join, but we are sharing a lot of helpful information for field workers. And the recording of this session will also be up there. We've talked about some interesting topics, and like what I'm going to do today, we do have menti.com, but I'm just going to do this verbally. I want everybody either using the chat box or to unmute themselves, just to give me one word or a number of words. What do you think is included in effective progress notes? So what have we been talking about so far?
Sorry, Leanne, for my lack of technology experience.
No, that's fine. No, a lot of people.
How do I put a comment in the chat room box?
Oh, just click, if you hover around the menu and click on chat.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, you can write it in there. Be objective. Thank you, Rosemary. Be objective.
One thing that I want to say, just drawing back to what Rosemary, when we were just talking about like the alcohol and things like that, timestamp stuff as well. So, if you administered Webster Pack medication at 9 a.m. or 9:05, administered Webster Pack medication or administered medication as per Webster Pack. That's really important. If I'm just trying to think of something else, mealtime, especially with diabetics. Again, we think worst case scenario, what's the risk? If they need to eat at a certain time, you need to say, that you're fed them, or not fed them, but you've made a meal for them and served them their meal at, 11:30 in the morning. And then, it turns out they're having a symptom, hypoglycemic reaction at, such and such time. We can then go back and go, oh, okay, there's the cause. Does that make sense? Time's really important. Even the time you leave. So just give you a really brief scenario. A couple of years ago, I was doing direct support. I was working predominantly in mental health, and we didn't have scheduled time like you guys did. We were kind of with them, we bounced between dependent. It was a block funded program, so we had a bit of flexibility. Anyway, I left the client's house at 3:30 in the afternoon, and then he had an episode later on in the afternoon, or actually in the evening, with a neighbour, and he was administered to hospital. Now, he was became an inpatient in the mental health unit, and although it was a voluntary, it should have been scheduled, but he was a voluntary patient. He then discharged himself the next day before one of us support workers could get there to pick him up. Now, I wasn't actually rostered the next day when he was due to be picked up. He discharged himself early and unfortunately went and died by suicide.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So every single one of our progress notes was called upon. I can tell you firsthand, you do not want to end up in the coroner's court, because the questions that your case managers will ask you, well, did you try this and did you try that? Or, did you do this? Did you do that? They're nothing compared to what a coroner's court's going to ask you. So
Lauren, sorry to interrupt. As a support worker, by law, we have to go there, don't we? Because they were out.
If you're subpoenaed,
she was your client.
Right. If you're subpoenaed and your name gets mentioned, you will go there.
You have to go.
So because I was with him the day before, thankfully I done progress notes.
Oh, okay.
So I could say, done this, how he presented. What was he presenting at? Was he in a high mood, low mood, rah, rah? So, all things like that, your observations, if something's out of the ordinary, if you get to, a client's house who is normally really bubbly and happy and, outgoing, and you get there and they're in a really low mood, what's going on here? Something's not right. So that is where your gut instinct can then transfer into evidence. Start asking those questions. Everything okay? What's going on? You look really down today. Things like that.
Right. Okay. So that suicide could have been avoided.
Could it? Don't know.
We don't know.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
He presented fine, and he had perfectly fine presentations for the days leading up. As I said, I left there in the afternoon. He had an altercation with his neighbour, and it all got too much for him. That was the finding. So
that's horrible, Lauren.
It is.
It is horrible.
So
and just with the why do you or when do you do progress notes? Is it at every visit, Lauren?
Every single visit.
Every single visit. And
if I'll be honest, I'm one of the case managers and that actually do go in and read my shift reports progress notes quite regularly. I try and allocate a bit of time each morning just to go through certain clients that I know, not that we have issues with, but there's concerns happening there. There might be health concerns or behavioral concerns or something like that, just to try and keep my head up to date with where we're at. You guys are our foot soldiers. You're our eyes and our ears. You spend more time with them than we do, so we need to hear from what's going on. It is really, really frustrating when you read a progress note and it says completed domestic assistance and social support. That's cute. What domestic assistance did you do? Did you change the sheets? Did you, did you wash the dishes? I'm not asking for, war and peace, but, wash sheets, put fresh sheets on bed.
What about client in happy mood, client a bit sad or a bit quiet, things like that?
Exactly. We want to see, client welcomed support worker warmly, or, client spoke about how she's seen her daughter on the weekend, or, anything big and not even interesting.
Well, not even big. It's just, what's going on.
Yeah, because the little things, it all builds that puzzle.
Point, Lauren? Can I just make a point? It also helps the next worker, because say for me that I'm recovering from this surgery, the next person that will help that client, I thought the last time I saw that client, I wrote a list, and it's just a brief list of what I did. So then when the next client when the next support worker goes, he or she will do the same thing, and it'll minimize their time, and it'll make the client less stressed as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I've currently got a client at the moment, and he has quite a regular support worker, and she's gone on, how dare she? She's gone on holidays. No, good luck to her. And I said to her, I messaged her and said, hey, can you give me a call when you've got a sec? Just want to get like a nice handover before you go on leave. And then I've been able to pass that on to the new support worker. It's all documented, but just appointments and, little things that work. She can get him to do things that normally he'll tell someone else to rack off. I'm not doing it. So, hot tips and stuff like that. Use your case managers. Use your case managers. Reach out to the community team. Hey, can you get such and such as case manager to give me a call? Want to have a chat to them about ABCD.
Okay, thank you.
And can I just add in there, it is also change of mood, change of behaviour, but it's also change of any health condition, perhaps ulcers, or perhaps, whatever, sugar levels, or, you might be able to elaborate on that, Lauren.
Yeah, so it could be, using a urinary tract infection, for example, one of the first signs is like confusion. Obviously, they've got those physical signs. Unless you've got a really good relationship with them, then kind of not going to tell you straight up, oh, guess what, I've got a UTI. But it could be, displaying signs of confusion and things like that. And that's where you can start asking those those questions. Oh, have you had plenty of water? Like, you know, it could be dehydration, things like that. The other thing is maintenance. Maintenance. So WHS is everybody's responsibility. Okay. If you see something, say something. Okay. If you get to a client's house and you can't walk up that front step because the handrail's broken, that's not just a safety concern for yourselves, it's a safety concern for our clients. That needs to be reported back pretty much immediately, because as a case manager, we're going to get onto maintenance and go, hey, such and such really needs a handrail fix, blah, 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 blah.
And just that just segue to my next thing is, you know, what if it is something that requires urgent attention? Is a progress note sufficient?
So obviously, because we're developing that evidence, we're keeping that, you know, that record keeping process going, it does need to be documented. But in saying that, it also needs to be alerted. So
if it's urgent, if it's urgent,
like I'm not talking about, you know, the light bulb in the spare bedroom that nobody ever goes into is blown. Not quite an emergency. If the smoke alarms aren't working, let us know. That is important, okay?
And so what do they do when it is, they put the progress note in, it is a priority, there's a change in health condition, you know, the smoke alarm's not working, there's clients dealing drugs, you know, they're all critical to me. So they put the progress notes in, but that's not, if it's critical, and that is at your discretion, okay? You decide whether this is a high priority. You've put it in the progress notes. What should they do when it is a high priority, where high priority action is required?
Call your community team. Call your community team and say, hey, Michelle, hey, Melissa, hey, Rita, whoever you get, hey, Henry, whoever you get. Guys, I've just been to, you know, Mrs. Wilson's house and have observed that she's, you know, got smoke markings up her kitchen backsplash. Clearly that's going to say, there's been a fire, yeah, or something. That's when that's at your discretion. Know.
So you decide, you know, this is critical. I'm a bit worried they may not read the progress notes for a few days. Remember when we said last week, we've got over 800, 900 clients. So it is easy to get lost in the wash. We try to read all the progress notes. Not all of them are read. So if it is urgent and you deem that urgency, you deem that level of priority, you then pick up the phone as well as write the progress notes.
So make sure it's a phone call. Don't send us an email.
Not an email, yeah.
At 3 o'clock in the morning. No one's going to get it. It's okay. This is what one thing I always used to say to my support workers was, and this is in regards to on-call, if it is an emergency, you call, okay? Because if your house was on fire, are you going to send an email to the fire brigade?
No.
Right. Exactly. So make the phone call.
Yeah. Good point.
Hey, Mitz.
Welcome to Mitzi. Mitzi,
Hi, guys. I'm so
it's lovely to see you. That's okay. I think everyone here completely understands when you get caught up with clients. Anything you would like to verbally add?
Assessment by a Rouse assessor.
Okay. And is there anything you'd like to add verbally?
No, just be factual. You know,
factual.
We're all
no opinions.
Just be factual. What you see, what you saw, not what you felt, not what you think. You know.
Yeah.
We're all guilty of being really busy and being forgetful, and not writing those notes down. But it can be the difference between saving your behind.
Yeah, I think, Mitz, if I asked you what your pet peeve of our role would be, what would it be?
Being the last one to know.
Being the last one to know, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of my big ones is case notes. I hate writing them. I'm not going to lie. I do. I despise writing them. As case managers, If we get a text message, we have to case note it. If we get an email, we case note it. If we make a phone call, we case note it. If we see the client, we case note it. I'll come back to that one, Rosemary, but we have to case note everything, and it is time consuming. I have clients that have that do live with acquired brain injuries, and they can call me up to, I'm going to say, about 25 times a day, and I have to case note every single one of that. So that's my biggest pet peeve. I just lost the chat there, Rosemary. What's that? With case managers, do you used to have arguments with clients as well? What do you mean by arguments, Rosemary?
Because Rosemary's writing, so that might take a bit.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that.
And just to answer it briefly, yes, we do argue with our clients.
Heated discussions
Yes.
sometimes.
Oh, 100%.
Yes, sometimes
So
we want to kill our clients, and that's no lie. You have to be very patient. Okay, you always have to remember that their behavior is no reflection on you. It's something that's happening to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we've also got to remember as well, Rosemary, as that everybody in this industry has to have a level of emotional intelligence as well. Okay. And last week we done the word cloud about what it takes to be a support worker. What traits do we need? And empathy. So empathy and patience are really, really crucial to our roles, not just as support workers, but as case managers as well. We have to put ourselves in their shoes sometimes. Sometimes we do have to bite our tongue. One of, just an example about heated discussions, we have clients that have quite a fair, substantial amount of funding there, and they want to buy this and buy that and buy that, buy this and buy that. But we have to say, no, sorry, we can't, because that's not what that money's for. And that can cause a lot of contention. So I think as case managers, we've got to have really, really strong conflict resolution skills, and be able to empathize and have that patience and that emotional intelligence to sometimes just step back, bite our tongues, take a deep breath, and roll with the punches. Mitz, what would you say to that?
Look, I've had a client call me names, swear at me, scream. Okay? You need to stay calm. For every action, there's a reaction. So if their actions to scream at you and you react with a scream, it exacerbates that behavior.
Adding fuel to the fire.
100%.
So you just need to work on those. It's like count to 20, do not answer.
And that's interesting. That sounds
it's
like
really, really hard.
Do the field workers have these situations with conflict with their clients? Yeah, that's a good topic we could cover one of these weeks. Conflict resolution skills, potentially.
Happy to do that.
To our field workers online today, what do you think? Is that something you would like to, cover in one of these sessions?
I think conflict resolution would be amazing.
Yeah, can you think of anything else? Put it in the chat. Any other topics you would like us to delve into? We've done.
I've actually got a bit of bad news, Leanne. I'm not going to be here next Wednesday.
Oh, okay, that's bad news I can handle, as long as it's not worse than that.
No.
That's all right. Mitzi, are you around?
I will be.
Thank goodness, because everyone should know here that I don't know anything about healthcare. I'm from the education sector, so I'm not an expert in anything except setting up Facebook groups and facilitating webinars such as this.
Maybe
don't rely on me.
One of the other case managers.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. We will certainly invite another case
managers every Wednesday.
Guest speaker. That's it. So, we were going to do a webinar on mental health. So, let's just, if you can give me any ideas, maybe on the Facebook group, you let us know what topics do you want covered. It might be, like Franca's scenario today. And thank you, Franca, for bringing that to us today. Because this is what we want. We want to know the problems you're having out there and that you're struggling with, because this session is all about giving you solutions and giving you skills to go forward and be more confident in future, activities. Yeah. So, and they want to know other case managers. Yeah, that's a great idea, Mitzi. So we will manage without you, Lauren. I'm very careful of the time. We've only got 4 minutes to go. So I'm going to wrap this one up now. I'm going to be posting a lot on the Facebook group. I've got handouts, I've got videos, I've got word clouds, I've got all sorts of things. So hopefully that will all be relevant to what we've discussed today. And tell your friends, tell your other support workers that you know, come and join us Wednesdays, 12:30. We're shooting the breeze, we're solving problems, and we're hopefully making your life easier. So I want to just thank you all. Is there any last comments or questions?
Just when you write
No,
your
thank
notes,
you very
guys,
much.
no fluff.
Thank you.
No fluff. Oh, Yumi,
fluff.
you've only just started 2 weeks ago. It's good to hear about the different cases and how to handle the problem. Thank you, Yumi. It's great feedback. We really want you to know you are supported, okay?
Yes.
This is how we're supporting you.
Absolutely.
These weekly sessions, the Facebook group, we have free learning, e-learning. If you want to do some courses, you know, speak to your community coordinator. We've got a lot of free courses available at the moment. Any skills areas that you need development in, have a chat with your community coordinator. Now is the time. I've got a lot out there, so I might in future
Keep the
posts.
conversation going.
Yeah,
You
keep
are
it going,
eyes
keep
and ears
learning.
out there.
Yeah, keep improving yourself. Remember, we spend a lifetime getting better at our jobs, so you could be doing this for many years and still need to learn new things. So thank you everyone for your valuable time, and have a wonderful day.